think that when we consider the root causes of what we commemorate during the 3-week period, we have to go back to the original sin, so to speak. We know that when the Meraglim, the scouts, were sent to spy on the land of Israel, and they came back, they issued an evil report, really a derogatory report of the land of Israel, and they caused the Bnei Yisrael to cry. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, "Atem bechisem bechia shachina." You cried for no good reason. You should have trusted in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ani ekvar lachem bechia shel doros. Therefore, I'm going to establish for you a crying for all generations, because on this day, when they cried, that was Tisha B'Av, HaKadosh Baruch Hu established that this would be the day that the Batei Mikdashos would be destroyed, and we would be crying throughout the generations, throughout history, as we still are, up until this very day. So we have to get to the root cause of this tragedy, which really was the Chet HaMeraglim. What went wrong? So we know that the Meraglim were sent out on the 29th day of Sivan, and they did most of their scouting during the month of Tammuz, actually. And the Bnei Yissaschar notes that each one of the months, if you start from Chodesh Nisan, it corresponds to a different tribe. You start with the marching of the different Shvatim towards Eretz Yisrael. And the first grouping was Degel Machane Yehuda, those who marched under the banner of Yehuda. You had Yehuda, Yisachar, Zebulun, they corresponded to Nisan, Iyar, and Sivan. And then your next group was Degel Machane Reuven, the group that marched under the banner of Reuven, that consisted of Reuven, Shimon, and Gad. So the fourth month of the year would correspond to the fourth tribe that marched, and that would be Reuven. And the fifth month of the year would correspond to the fifth tribe that marched, and that would be Shimon. So what's the fourth month of the year? Well, you have as Nisan, Iyar, Sivan, as we mentioned. It's followed by Tammuz is the fourth month, and Av is the fifth month. So the fourth month corresponds to Reuven. Says the Bnei Yissaschar. What does Reuven stand for? Ki ra'ah Hashem be'anyi. That it stands for Re'iyah, seeing, the ability to look at what the situation is, to see it for what it is. If there are problems, to ameliorate it. That's the idea of a Re'iyah. That was the sin that was committed by the Meraglim in their spying of the land during the month of Tammuz, that they engaged in Re'iyah, in seeing, but their eyes were jaundiced. They were jaded based on their predisposition to report negatively about the land. And then the following month, Av, when they rendered their report, so that corresponds to the tribe of Shimon. Shimon stands for Shemiah, for hearing. Ki Shema Hashem Shesnua Anochi, as Leah said, that Hashem heard that I was hated. So their Shemiah as well, it was a Shemiah that was an improper Shemiah. When Bnei Yisrael heard the report of the Meraglim, they didn't hear it in the proper way. They didn't understand that deep down, HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves them, and of course would only bring them to a land where they're going to be able to conquer their enemies, and they're going to be able to succeed. Says the Gemara in Sanhedrin, if you look in the Prakim, the second, third, and fourth Prakim of Megillas Eicha, where the mourning for the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash is recorded, it's recorded in Aleph Beis, alphabetical pattern. And all of the letters are in order except for two of the letters. Those two letters are the Pei and the Ayin. The Pei comes before the Ayin. Why is it in the wrong order? So says the Gemara, because Amu b'fiyam ashalo ra'u b'einayim. Because the Meraglim said with their mouths what was inconsistent with what they saw with their eyes. Had they gone in with a proper perspective, with a Yiras Elokim, with a fear of God, with a respect and a trust, and Emunah, Bitachon, and a Kadosh Baruch Hu, they would have seen things more favorably. They would have recognized that even if the inhabitants of the land were big and mighty, nonetheless, Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to protect them. Rak b'Hashem al timrodu, as Yoshua and Caleb said, don't rebel against Hashem. You have to have a trust in a Kadosh Baruch Hu. It says about the land of Israel, Einei Hashem Elokecha bar merishis shana, merishis hashana v'yad acharis hashana. The eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu are on the land of Israel from the beginning of the year until the end of the year. So we should have had that same sense of trust and faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu that He would intervene on our behalf supernaturally. And that's the way we have to be able to look at the land of Israel, to look at our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So now we can fast forward to our times. Right now, 21st century, the year 2025, Tafshin Pei Hey, you look at all the enemies who surround us, those who want to annihilate, chas v'shalom, the people of Israel, the land of Israel, take away this land from us. We have to rectify the sin, the mistake of the Meraglim by demonstrating our emunah b'tachon HaKadosh Baruch Hu, by recognizing the nisim v'niflos that HaKadosh Baruch Hu performs for us, and by recognizing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there for us, that we don't have to worry about the forces of the natural world. If we did, how would we be able to wake up in the morning with all the hatred and all the vile anti-Semitism that exists today? The Gemara in Avodah Zarah that we just started learning in the Daf Yomi tells us on the first daf that all the nations of the world will recognize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was doing everything for the sake of the Jewish people, that we're His special chosen people. So they'll try to get on Hashem's good side. So the Parsiyim, the Persians, the Iranians, will come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and they'll say, oh, all the things that we did, the wars that we fought and everything, it was really, deep down, it was really for the sake of the Jews, everything that we did. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will say, Melchamos, the wars, you want to celebrate how the wars turned out. Melchamos ani asisi. I made the wars. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one who decides who gets involved in the war, who's going to attack in the war, what type of military strategies are going to be employed. It all comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We have to be thankful to those who are inspired to come to our aid, but we have to recognize that at the end of the day, it's all HaKadosh Baruch Hu who's responsible for the end of days, and for even the days that we live in every single day. It's all the nisim and the flows of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that enables us to survive and to thrive, and that we have to rely upon, and that we have to be thankful for, and that we have to trust in terms of our own view of our contemporary situation and circumstances, and our ability to live in Eretz Yisrael. And God willing, when we have that proper perspective of appreciation, gratitude towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu, trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu that He's there for us when it comes to Eretz Yisrael, and we have to take full advantage of Eretz Yisrael and appreciate the land, appreciate everything that we see, appreciate everything that we hear, and give proper gratitude to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That should lead us to the Geula Shlema B'mheira V'Yameinu.